Welcome to Glitches to Gold, a weekly podcast birthed from my obsession with living a successful life. It began with chasing an Olympic dream and resulted in a 30-year obsession explored through sport, neuroscience, psychology, energetics, quantum mechanics, religion, art, and beauty. Sometimes chasing and achieving external markers, and at others experiencing the absolute opposite. Yet both taught me the same undeniable truth, and I'm here to share what I have discovered in the journey of mastering the alchemy of life, turning glitches to gold and success into overflow. If you like the podcast, share the love, like, rate, and subscribe on your favourite platform. Hey, and welcome to today's episode of Glitches to Gold, and I'm Jo Warwick. And today's episode, we're really diving into what is it you're tolerating? This tolerating of behavior from your money, from your finances, from tolerating within your business or your career, from the behavior of other people, but most importantly, the behavior of yourself. When we want to have a shift and change in our relationship with money, the flow of money coming in, or we want to expand our business, or we want to have a better relationship that we're actually in with a partner, it always comes down to this key thing. What are we tolerating? Are we coming from a place of value and true alignment with self, or are we tolerating from the not self who is keeping us in old patterns that are founded in our youth, in our childhood, in our survival instinct? And so when we look to the life that we want and the life that we're living and the amount of money flowing in your life and the amount of money in your bank account, it is going to highlight a big contrast between what it is you are tolerating and accepting. And it can be painful to recognize. But I also want to give you hope in knowing that sometimes you may be moving along a path that you've chosen to lean into something. And I often talk about leaning in with bravery, something that you want and desire. And you head off on a path that seems to be aligned. And it seems to be aligned with your truth and your soul and your self. And you know that this is what you want. And every sign is flowing. And then somewhere along the line, it stops. And it's not because you did anything wrong, but because the process of you moving along that journey expanded you and aligned you with your true self, your true wealth identity, the deep value, golden level value inside of yourself, that now that the thing external to you doesn't match. Because it's matching to the old identity, the old beliefs. And even if they weren't wrong beliefs, they weren't survival beliefs, but you've outgrown it so fast that the thing that you thought you wanted is now too small. It doesn't fit you. And it can be painful. It can feel like you've been smacked in the face. It can feel like the rug has been pulled from you. I mean, you may have had this experience with dating, that you may have dated someone and you're like, this is going so well. And then suddenly it ends. That isn't always about something toxic or someone not committing. It's simply that you no longer resonate in the same field. And not because anybody has shrunk, but because you've expanded. And when we can accept that, we can give up again to ourselves and to the divine to be able to say, well, it's being replaced by something bigger and better. I've outgrown this. It's being removed for my benefit. But that also brings us into, if I'm now feeling that the situation that I'm in my career, maybe in a relationship with a partner, in the financial flow, and you're looking at the ways that money has come into your life, that you've been like, this is where I'm at, I'm committed, I'm in it, but you've been doing so much to evolve and grow. Sometimes we have to then acknowledge that the thing we were committed to no longer fits. And we have to sometimes make that decision to say, this doesn't fit me anymore. This isn't who I am. This doesn't have the longevity, the space, the flow, the support, the expansion for me to be where I need to be, aligned with myself. And sometimes that means saying goodbye to people, saying goodbye to partners, saying goodbye to the way that you've been running your business, saying goodbye to your business sometimes, saying goodbye to a job. That letting go process is as important when you recognize, what am I here to tolerate now? Am I here to tolerate this for longer? Am I here to tolerate this for the rest of time? Am I willing to tolerate this? But if you come back to that thing of like, I've grown, I've outgrown this, I've expanded this. So if I've expanded it, am I willing to tolerate it? Sometimes it's a niggle and it can readjust. But other times, if you keep coming back to something and you're like, this isn't working, this really isn't working. Now, for myself, you will see on my Instagram and stuff that I have actually reclaimed a part of myself, an upgrade. This wasn't a release, but an upgrade for me. That going through Braver, doing this challenge, this 30-day challenge with the women inside, for me, it's brought me a couple of amazing big things. One, I announced Meet Me in Dublin. This is the first of my Wealthier You events. These are weekends where you get to meet me in Dublin. You'll get to spend time as we go out in the evening and have dinner. It's a small selective group, only 3 women. We have dinner, we go dancing, we listen to Irish music, and then the next day it's all about exploring. And through that time over the dinner and through the time of the next day of exploring and lunch and moving slowly, we talk about money, we talk about identity, we step into that wealth identity, we talk about what's in the way of the financial flow, we talk about businesses and careers, we talk and explore in every aspect and anything else that comes up, of course, around divinity and life and alignment and self. And we release the not self, because we're going to be fully embodying, and you'll know in my work that it's often around the not just embodiment, but it's the movement. This year the Fire Horse is all about movement and momentum, so we have to move fast, we have to move with it, we have to actually literally be present in it, which is why I'm offering these events. My dream is to have these all over the world, all over the world. So I'm very excited. That was one thing that I have shifted, and if you're interested, reach out to me. DM me at the Joe Warwick on Instagram or Facebook, or head on over to glitchestogold.com or joewarwick.com and reach out. If you're on my email list, reach out. If you're interested in attending and being part of that intimate level, whether it's in Dublin or whether you want to be on the next one, get in touch. Love to hear from you. The other thing that I've also done is, as I said, you will see on my Instagram, etc., it says the money therapist. I have claimed, not just stepped into really talking about money and financial flow and within your business, your career, etc., because financial flow covers everything like business and career and how money comes in and manifesting, all that. And I've always been leaning very much from the fact that, of course, I do energetics and I do correction and alignment and mindset and wealth identity, all of that. But the key focus of my life has been psychology. Psychotherapy was a massive part of my life and the largest chunk of my career. The reason I have all these letters in front of my name and after my name was I was a world-class psychotherapist. I have a book called The Big Book of Love, Loving Yourself, Dating with Love, Loving Relationships, which you can access from Glitches to Gold and Amazon and all good bookshops. But I was obsessed around relationships of healthy and unhealthy. I was seeking what was missing in unhealthy relationships. When people stepped into domestic violence, they came from trauma, they were in relationships with affairs, situationships, etc. But I also very much worked in healthy relationships, bringing healthy relationships to the fruition. I worked for Relate, I worked at all different ages, but it was a big, big part. As I was exploring what is human dynamics, I was obsessed, and I was a public speaker on it, at conferences and stuff. I've published articles about it. This was an obsession. For 10 years, I was absolutely obsessed when I was in full flow, seeing ridiculous number of clients and hours and all over the world. And then when I turned 40, I put it down. With my book, I put it down and I said, I never want to be a therapist again. And I spent 10 years obsessed around business and consulting and growing businesses and understanding money and people within their businesses and understanding how to align with manifesting and all of that. Another 10 years obsessed. But something has changed this year about reclaiming this psychology part. It's always been there in the undertone, but this therapist aspect, because the biggest part I've come to realize is my knowledge and my insight around relationships, human relationships, is what really shows up in money relationships, your dynamic with money. And there's a recognition for me of what I was tolerating from myself. I was tolerating hiding a part of me because I was afraid of stepping into the fullness of myself about money and about reclaiming that therapeutic aspect, because that therapeutic aspect did bring burnout, it did bring obsession, it brought working in some really dark, heavy, grief-laden places. And although I was obsessed, and although, as you will see in the Big Book of Love, I also did research around the world as love stories and things like that, I'm also a trained wedding celebrant. My passion for love itself was a huge driver, and it still is, in the fact that it's God and divine and loving yourself and all of those parts. So reclaiming this word therapist was a big decision, a right decision, something that the fire horse has been leading me to. But saying out loud, I am a money therapist. I'm not just a money therapist, I'm the money therapist. And that's what I'm stating and what I'm claiming to say. I'm no longer tolerating playing small. I'm no longer tolerating not being seen in my full power. I'm no longer tolerating hiding away my knowledge and understanding around the dynamics and relationships you have with money. And we're going deep. And what's birthed from it, what is so exciting in my lack of tolerance for this, is I am announcing a training that you can access called Get the Relationship You Want with Money and Financial Flow. And when you head over to glitchestogold.com, let's say, when you head on over to www.glitchestogold.com or go from the link in my Instagram or Facebook, you will find it. The Get the Relationship You Want this year, now, in money and financial flow. We are talking about the changing the relationship. So if you think, oh yes, I've done wealth identity stuff, if your money is still not showing that, you're not in the right relationship and you're tolerating something unacceptable. So tolerating, is this going to be the thing you tolerate for the rest of the year? A crap relationship with money, a crap relationship with yourself, a crap relationship with somebody else, a crap situation? Are you going to tolerate it? Well, the fire horse is not going to let you. And we're currently, as you're listening to this, we are also in Mercury in retrograde, so it's not going to let you. It's time to face the mirror, face the truth, and decide that you tolerate less and claim more. You deserve better. You deserve things that match your value. And when we're tolerating something, it takes up so much energy. It burns our power to stay small, to hide, to not speak up to the fullness of ourselves. But remember, as you do this, you're going to bump up against old news as we've outgrown things, whether that's outgrowing the relationship or outgrowing, an identity that you've owned. There's going to be situations in your life that appear and make you go, oh, I was accepting that, or it suddenly disappears. Well, that's a gift. It's a gift because you've outgrown it and it's not big enough for you. It's not abundant enough for you. It doesn't support you enough. It doesn't have longevity for you. So have faith. Your frequency has already expanded and the world is adjusting. I'm sending you so much love where you are today. Head on over to glitchestogold.com or come find me at the Joe Warwick on Instagram or Facebook. Get in touch if you want to find out more about my Wealthier You weekends. Meet me in Dublin or meet me somewhere else around the world as they unfold. And you're interested in being one of those amazing women who's going to spend time with me to tap into my wisdom, my energy, my insight as a projector. And if you want to find out more about Get the Relationship You Want with Money and Financial Flow, of course, head on over and you can get instant access to it today. And lastly, of course, my love language is you liking, sharing, subscribing, and rating. Tell anybody that you can about this amazing podcast and the insights and the energies that you find here. I really appreciate it. Let other people know they will gain so much from this podcast.